Governor Reynolds signed a tax bill in the past month. You have said that you would like to redo parts of it.
Right.
If you are governor in January, what will you ask the legislature to do in regards to tax policy?
Well, you know, it's looking pretty grim at this point. I mean, the tariff wars are getting worse, right? The tariffs on livestock, instead of being 400 million, are now 560 million. And now we have threats against steel, aluminum again, as well as corn and maybe ethanol. So it could get a lot worse. So I think if you sat here today, and today's world is what you're going to have in January, we're going to have to peel back all those tax cuts because our state is not going to be able to afford that. You know, if we have $1 billion of hits to our farm economy, that's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars hits to our state revenue. And our state isn't going to be able to afford that. How are we going to pay back the $144 million that's already been borrowed from the rainy day funds if we already have a shortage next year of several $100 million? I mean, how are we going to continue to even, you know, at a minute level, fund education and healthcare and infrastructure in our state?
So you would undo the individual income tax cuts. What about the corporate tax cut?
I'm talking about all the tax cuts. You know, at this point in time, but I said very, very clearly, I would have vetoed the law if I'd had a chance to veto it because it's fiscally irresponsible. Now that, you know, if I'm governor in January, we're going to have to take a look at what the situation is. There are some things in that tax law, like getting rid of federal deductibility and leveling the playing field for Main Street businesses with internet, which I think are good. We'd like to try to keep those. But I don't see how we could have a tax law that reduces the revenue for our state government, and I don't see how we can have a tax law that puts, if we do have any reductions in revenue, that gives most of it to big companies or big wealthy individuals instead of spreading it more balanced way.
What about tax credits? You reference them there. I hear politicians talk about, oh, we got too many tax credits. Well, which ones do you want to get rid of? Earned income tax credit? I don't hear Democrats talking about that.
No, I think our earned income tax credit is actually a very good tax credit.
But have you got some specifically in mind?
Well, you know, I participated, as you know, on a tax credit review panel in 2009 and 10. We looked at all the individual and corporate credits, exemptions, and deductions, the annual ones. And we identified right there, you know, the ones that are where the state is putting out $1 and we're getting back 50 cents or less than $1. And those should be cut back or they should be eliminated. The ones that you're getting back $1.50 or so, as an example, for that $1, you should keep those or maybe even enhance those. So we identified each one that fits into that category. But let me just give you an example, the research activities tax credit, which is the biggest tax credit we have in state government. Originally, it was for small businesses who wanted to hire people who were doing research, PhD type folks. And they didn't have enough money to pay those people because they're expensive. So that's why it was a refundable tax credit. The state would actually write them a check because they usually didn't make any money. That way they could pay the researchers. Great idea to get businesses up and started and running. But these days, over time, it's morphed into a place where, you know, the large majority of all the tax credit money goes to a very few companies who don't even pay income taxes in our state. And we write them checks for about, you know, somewhere north of $40 million a year now. Why would we write checks to companies, which are very good businesses? I don't have any concern about the quality of the businesses. They're good employers, they're good companies in our state. But if they're not paying income taxes, why do we write them a check? Particularly when we can't balance our own state budget, or we wouldn't be borrowing money from reserve funds, and we're underfunding education and healthcare. What I'm going to say to those businesses is, look, rather than give you a short-sighted annual check, I'm going to take that money, give you a tax deduction. If you paid income taxes, you get the value of the deduction. But I'm going to take those checks and invest in the future of your business, the future of our state, the future of our people, by taking that money and improving our education, our job training, and healthcare, so they have better quality employees to hire in the future.